Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. And I'm very, very pleased to welcome each and every one of you to our tea time session today that is going to feature the scholars who participated in the Reeves Scholars Program in 2024-2025 academic year. And I really must say that this is a remarkable group of future educators who have explored what it means to learn, to lead, and teach across cultures through this Reeves Scholars Program. And the program is a partnership, or was a partnership, between Michigan State University and the University of Cape Coast, Ghana. And I want to appreciate and acknowledge that this program was made possible through a generous donation from Larry and Lynn Reeves. And I believe they're supposed to join the meeting today. And we want to really welcome them when they come, and we want to thank them for their contribution, a big contribution to making this program possible. So before we delve into our today's discussion, I wish to introduce myself. My name is Damaris Choti. I work here at Michigan State University as the coordinator for student and alumni programs. And I was privileged to be the faculty lead for the Reeves Scholars Program on the MSU side, together with my colleague, Katie Tash-Baleki, who served as a graduate assistant this past academic year. So the African Studies Center hosts the tea time events as one of our signature events every year. And I want to briefly just point out for those who are joining us for the first time, why is this called the African Tea Time? Because it seems like a unique forum. We don't have tea for right now, as you can see, but I welcome you to grab a cup of tea, not coffee, for sure, tea, if you have any. But just to point out that before COVID, this program was purely in person. But when the pandemic hit, we transitioned to fully virtual. And later, we've been trying hybrid, but this year the program is virtual and fully. So tea time, it's called tea time because sharing a cup of tea is a popular way of spending time with family and friends and even guests in many African cultures. And in fact, when you offer some tea to a friend that is coming to visit you, a guest, it's a kind gesture, really. And so it happens that a lot of informal sharing of knowledge and a lot of wisdom, things, politics, social life, and many other things happen during this time. So tea time at Michigan State University through the African Studies Center, we consider it a friendly space that provides an opportunity for people who participate to learn and share about different aspects of Africa from individuals who have different diverse backgrounds and knowledge on Africa. So we welcome you today. And again, before we delve into the discussion that has brought us here, I really want to acknowledge the units and the people at MSU and University of Cape Coast that laid a very strong foundation for the successful implementation of this program, the Reeves Scholars Program. I should say that this is a 5-year program that was funded from 2025 from 2020, to 2025, and I've mentioned it was through a donation by Larry and Aline, and it was jointly hosted by the College of Education at MSU and the College of Education. No, it's called College of Education Studies. I should get that clear, at UCC. And before Katie and I joined in the first 4 years, the program was led by Drs. Magoglu, Lynn Payne, Upenyo Majay, and later Dr. Anita Chedga. Those are from MSU. And then we had Drs. Ernest Davis, Dr. Foster Nto, Rita Dozie, and later Dr. Gertrude Toto from the UCC side. And I don't want to forget the invaluable contributions of the graduate assistants that were part of the program for over the 5 years, and also the contributions of the local communities and partners, including the schools, the historical centers and sites, the local entrepreneurs, and many, many, many people that I can't mention all that contributed to the scholars' experiences. So thank you so much to all the institutions and the people involved in this program. So I'll turn on to introducing our speakers for today. I will start with Lot Abban. and Lottie is a student, junior year education, specializing in junior year education, social studies, specifically at UCC. We will also have Maame Thompson, also a student, specializing in secondary education, food and nutrition, UCC. Prince Ocran is our other panelists, also a student, secondary education, mathematics and chemistry, UCC. Zoe James, a student at Michigan State University, is a student teacher now, English education from MSU. And then we have Matheus, Hassen, Coura, Vieira, student, elementary education and English as a second language, here at MSU as well. Thank you so much for your participation today, for accepting to give us your time and to represent the 2025 scholars, who had a total of 12 that participated in this program this past academic year. So I will want to start from the very basic question, and maybe I can start with Prince. Prince, what motivated you to apply or to accept the nomination to the Reeves Scholars Program? Prince, did I put you on spot?
Thank you, Dr. Damaris, for the opportunity. So actually, I've always loved to learn beyond my comfort zone or my personal safe haven. I've tried to learn new experiences. And before this Reeves Scholars Program, and before I was even called for interview, I had the opportunity to learn from different perspectives. So from the day that I was nominated, actually, we were not given the opportunity to.
Please go ahead. We can hear you, Prince. Oh. Prince, we cannot hear you. Is it me? Oh, okay. Prince, something happened. It doesn't seem like you're muted, but we cannot hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Sorry, something happened, but it didn't seem like you're muted. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying now, before I was called for interview, I've loved to move beyond my comfort zone and also to learn new experiences. And even before this opportunity, I've loved to gain other experiences. So when I was called and then the interview, and I was selected to be part of this program, it was like a dream comes true. So I accepted, and then I move towards this course so that I would be exposed to different perspective. And also being a mathematics and chemistry educator, I've always loved to know how mathematics and chemistry is being taught from different cultural perspective. So this motivated me to accept this nomination to be part of the Reeves Scholars Program.
Thank you so much, Prince. We were happy to have you at the program. Next person, what motivated you to be part of the program? Zoe.
So I learned about this program through Katie. She came to speak in one of my classes. And I was really interested in the cross-cultural communication and education. Unlike a normal study abroad where you go to a country, take classes there, and explore the area, the city, the culture. Instead, we did get to do that, but we were also located on UCC's campus, and then the Ghanaian students were located on our campus, and so we really got to immerse ourselves in the culture. And the idea of this just made me really excited, and I thought I would go out on a limb and apply for it, especially because that was technically my senior year. I'm a fifth year senior this year. And I hadn't experienced anything like that before. I really wanted to add that to my college experience and just my general knowledge, especially because, like Matt, I am a TESOL minor, and I thought that this would help me engage with my students in the classroom. And it already has. I have many students that are from different countries, and I feel like I'm able to engage with them and understand them more. So I really applied just to like gain that knowledge and the experience. I wasn't exactly sure what I was getting into, but it ended up being amazing, and I am so happy that I did it.
Wow. Thank you, Zoe. Maame, please, how did you get interested in joining this program, the Reeves Scholars Program?
Okay, so basically, I accepted the invitation to join this program because I wanted to learn more about how teaching in different parts of the world works, and then how education, of course, works in different parts of the world, getting to communicate and experience people with different culture and background, to share what I have and also to learn from them. So basically, that was it.
Thank you so much. It was great having you in the program. Matt.
Having been born in another country, I've always been very interested in learning more about how education works in different nations and what we can take from all these different countries and learn from so that we can make the best educational system that we can. So when I was given this opportunity to go to another country, learn from not only other students like me who are learning about education in this country, but getting to go into the schools, get to see what they're like, get to see what the differences are. It just felt like the perfect opportunity for me to get to know more about the world, more about education, and more about how I can be the best teacher I can be.
Wow. Thank you so much. And I'm hoping that as we keep talking through this session, we learn more about what that was exactly. But thank you so much. Lot.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. So before the call came for me to join the Reeves Scholars Program, I had already been informed by a mentor of mine. He's on the call right now. His name is Champan. He told me everything I needed to know about the program, so I was fully prepared to meet the program. It's because actually the Reeves Scholars Program is everything that's, as an aspiring educator, you need to grow to become a teacher who connects the classroom to the wider world. So as an education student at the University of Cape Coast, I have always believed that teaching goes beyond textbooks and examinations. The program provided a space to explore that belief through dialogue, collaboration, and reflection with people from different cultural and educational backgrounds. So I was drawn to the RSP because of my interests, one in student leadership, and also to become the best educator that I could ever be. So when the opportunity came, I did everything to grab it with both hands. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. I'm hearing many things. I'm hearing the diversity of the classrooms, like that's what Zoe said. And I'm hearing others because of the immersive nature, the reciprocal nature of the program. You knew that you were going to learn and immerse yourself in another culture and learn as an educator. So, and also I'm hearing you a lot talk about an alum of the program that had already told you about what it is and the benefits. So I see the impact there already. And thank you so much. I was about to ask you all about how you saw this program fitting into your future goals as a leader, but I've had a little bit of aspects of you touching on it, kind of, but I want to intentionally ask. So you were invited, you were told what this program is about. And thinking about it before you said yes or no, how did you see it fitting into your future goals as an educator? Just briefly, because I know you've really at least mentioned some bits of it. I will say, Lot, you can go ahead, please.
All right, thank you very much. So I was drawn to the Reeves Scholars Program, one because of my interest in becoming a wonderful educator globally and recognized, and also my interest in student leadership and student affairs, because I knew that the program is going to give me the needed skills and also the expertise to learn from great people so that I can become who I want to be. And also, having seen how mentors like you were able to help aspiring educators, I felt like, no, this is a perfect opportunity for me. So I just had to make sure that I accept that.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you, Lot. Matt, you had an opportunity to get to know about the program, and after the interview, you would have said, now, how did you see this fitting into the goals of you as a aspiring educator or a teacher in training? How did you see this fit into your future career?
I think that given that the United States has so many people from so many different countries, it is so important to know about other cultures if you plan to be a teacher here. I know from personal experience, having lived here and having been friends with people from other countries, that teachers don't always really understand what the culture you're coming from can be like. And I think that the most responsible thing a teacher can do is just expose themselves to as many cultures as they can. So that's kind of my goal in life as I get into teaching. And the Reeves Scholars Program was an amazing opportunity to do that.
Thank you, Matt. And I believe this is going to continue impacting your career as you continue going. Maame.
Okay, so it was the global orientation for me because one of my goals is to become a globally oriented teacher. So when I had this offer, I was like, why not? Because learning about people from different parts of the world would enable me to know them more and better, because you never know where students are coming from. So the global orientation for me. Thank you.
Appreciate that. I hear diversity, the experience, like knowing that the world is becoming more and more diverse and wanting to be the best version of a teacher that you can be in that aspect of it. So, Zoe.
So I think my biggest goal with the Reeves Scholars Program and how it reflects in my teaching is similar to what everyone else has said about bringing culture into the classroom, especially cultural awareness. As I am student teaching right now, I am able to practice these goals a little bit and expand on them. I've noticed a lot of social disconnect between my ELL students and other students that were born here in the United States. And I feel like going through the Reeves Scholars Program and being in some of those learning spots myself and getting used to a different culture, but also learning how to engage across cultures has really helped me with communicating with my students. It's not just me helping them with learning different words, but also socially and emotionally connecting with them and letting them see that their voices matter and should be present and seen within the classroom just as much as anyone else's. And similar to what Matt said, in the United States, we have such a diverse population that making ourselves more aware and also seeing how other people do things is, personally, in my opinion, always a great thing to do. You never know what skills or techniques you'll pick up on. There were so many ways of teaching that I saw in Ghana that I was like, wow, I've never thought of that. We don't do that here. And it really inspired me. And I think in a way is making me more creative in the classroom when going about lessons and teaching.
Wow. Thank you, Zoe. You went really deep, and we're going to explore more as we go through this session. Prince, I don't think you really commented on the aspect of how
Yeah.
did you see this fitting into your goals as an educator, future
All right.
educator?
So I saw the Reeves Scholars Program as essential. That's bridging my academic training and also my aspiration as an educator. So my goal was never to be a teacher who just delivers a curriculum, but one who cultivates environments where curiosity thrives and students are well empowered to become best of themselves. So before this program, I understood certain concepts like student-centered learning, inclusive pedagogy, theory, but I was imagining how this can actually be done or can actually be included in our lessons. So I use this one as an opportunity to leave them. So I knew that moving from a traditional or teacher-centered model to one another truly fosters critical thinking and creativity. And I need to see them in action. And also, one way or the other, I will be mentoring teachers or future educators. And how can this be possible? And Reeves Scholars came to my service. So this actually fits into my goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prince. So moving on to another part. So a key part of the Reeves Scholars Program is the exchange of ideas, values, and practices across cultures. And I've heard you already mention some of those, both through the virtual and in-person engagement. So I want to ask you, what aspects of the virtual seminar or the reciprocal travel that helped you most understand and appreciate cultural differences and feel more connected with people from other cultures? Because I know for some of you, it was the first time to engage in that type of virtual classroom or even travel to another country. So what aspects of those, either the virtual or the travel or both, that really made you feel like you're more connected to another culture and people from another world that is not yours? You can pick up from where you left, Prince.
Okay, so for me, the travel was the heart of the experience, whilst the seminar serves as foundation for the grades high international travel. So a perfect example is we had an identity workshop with KD at Owinu Hall. So where we were not just listening to lecture of identity or diversity, but we were cutting magazines, putting things together, showing our culture, our passion, and then also representing our families, our struggles in life, sharing. So this one actually hit me, and I learned that in the classrooms we can actually let our students use this diversity learning, use of collaging, expressing their views with magazines, pictures. Sometimes some of the students cannot actually express themselves either in the written or the verbal form. So using the collagen form can help them to express themselves. So as they are expressing their views, ideas, passion about life or culture, then they are also sharing what other cultures are also imparting into one another. So this actually helped me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prince. How about you, Maame? What is it that from either travel or from the virtual seminar, from both, that made you feel more connected and engaged across the culture?
Okay, so I would say a combination of both. So with the virtual seminars, my interaction with my fellow scholars during our group works, I got to know more and a lot. And also with the reciprocal travel, it was the visit to the cultural centers and museums, because personally it was the very first time I experienced different culture. So that made me feel more connected with people from different cultures. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maame. So it's from both travel and from the places that we visited, including schools. Zoe, about any aspect, like example of the either from travel or
I think what made me feel the most connected was actually seeing everybody in person, both on the MSU and UCC side. When we were first doing Zoom classes, the MSU students decided to get together and go get coffee. I already knew some of the students in my cohort, but not everyone. And being able to put a physical face to this person's name, I think really deepened our connections and relationships with each other. And very similarly, when we all traveled to Ghana and got to see all of the UCC students, and when they first came here, it was like, wow, you're a real human being and not just someone popping up on my screen. It was putting that the physical to the like I think you're like get what I'm saying, like the tactile thing. Yeah. And so that really made it real. And I think being able to see everybody made all of us connect so much more, because then it's not just you speaking on a screen, it's also seeing that person's movements, their emotions, being able to talk one-on-one instead of just text someone. It made everything more genuine.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zoe. How about Lot? What aspects made you feel more connected with people from other cultures, your colleagues?
Okay, thank you. So I embraced intercultural learning through both virtual peer sessions, especially because that's where we get to really have lengthy conversations among ourselves without the interference of our coordinators. Because once they are with us, we have to limit ourselves. Yeah, so those interactions that took place, and also when the team came to Ghana, because I personally couldn't travel to the US because of visa issues, but then we had wonderful moments. So during these interactions, I encountered several moments of culture shocks that taught me to appreciate different ways of thinking and relating. I was surprised by how freely people use their left hand, because in Ghana, we hardly even use our left hand in doing certain things. But when our MSU counterpart came to Ghana, they started learning, especially Miss Katie was like, am I doing the right thing? Yes, always trying to make sure that she falls in line with whatever the new environment that she is in. And also the use of the first names. I was hearing Katie, I was hearing Damaris. I was like, no, you can't call Dr. Foster until Foster in Ghana. So these are some of the culture shocks that I got to know. But then they all learn together, and as time goes on, we were fitting very well. So that's one thing that I got to really
Wow.
learn. Yes.
Thank you. So a lot before we go to quickly to Matt. I think Matt hasn't shared. Can you talk more about that left hand thing? What is it? Why can't I use my left hand? Is it in Ghana, you think? Is it a cultural thing in Africa?
Okay, so
What is it?
mostly in Africa we use our right hand. In greeting people, it's a sign of respect. We hardly use the left hand. You can't wave someone using the left hand. It means you are disrespectful, like you don't give reverence to the person. So when our friends came, they were like, hello, and you can see people around where we were staying were looking at them, but to them they understood because they are in a different environment. You get it. So mostly aside we putting on rings and let's say these bracelets and all the other things on our left hand, we hardly use it for anything. But there are people that mostly eat with their left hand. For that one, it is accepted because that's how they've been trained or they've grown up to be. But aside that, mostly everything is done with the right hand. Everything. And even if you have to use your left hand in doing certain things, your parents can be like, hey, stop, don't use the left hand. Always greet people with the right hand. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Lot. It's those small things that really help us learn more about how things are done in another cultural setting. So thank you. I just wanted you to bring that out more. Matt, please.
I think the thing that really like bridges us together was the the seminars and getting to talk to each other in between the proper like whole class Zoom meetings. In a lot of opportunities like this where you travel abroad, you end up not really getting to know the people you're going to travel with until you're traveling with them. Having this opportunity to spend a whole semester like engaging with the people every single week, I think was so important in making sure everyone was comfortable with one another when it came time for this trip to happen. And I think it's that comfort and camaraderie that was able to build up before the trip that allowed us to be able to take full advantage of those 4 weeks together.
And thank you so much. And an important thing that you've pointed out or you've mentioned is that it was not even just about connecting and learning from your counterparts in Ghana, for example. It's just even with your colleagues at MSU, because there's so much that we can learn from one another sometimes when an opportunity like this comes, and you're in different levels too. I know that you were the youngest. I mean, I think in terms of age and level, and there's so much that you can learn from interacting from one another. So the Reeves Scholars Program was not just a connection across culture, but even amongst the students or scholars that participated even within the countries and the cohorts in their own countries. So thank you so much for that. So quickly moving on to teaching and learning. So we've talked about, I mean, how can I say, the intercultural learning in terms of connecting with one another, the intercultural connection, different perspectives just related to culture. So I just wanted you to give a quick example of a memorable moment or interaction, either in Ghana again or in the US, that shifted your perspective about teaching and learning in another cultural setting. And this can be based on the classrooms that you visited or even from the different topics that we tackled under the curriculum that we were using for the Reeves Scholars Program. So what is this one particular interaction that you could say that really changed your perspective about teaching and learning in another culture? Yeah. Matheus, you can go ahead, please.
In the United States, we spend a lot of our curriculum, social studies, US history curriculum, talking about the impact of slavery and everything that went along with it. But nothing we learn here ever comes close to standing in the places where they were kept. And it really makes you understand just how important it is to not just lecture at the students, but really give them opportunities to engage with the topic as much as they can so they can fully comprehend something. Now, obviously, you can't take a classroom of US students to Africa and like have them understand that, but there are a lot of resources here, like the Charles Wright Museum that we went to, that I think make the past so much more real. And that's always something that's gonna like stand out to me in my future moments teaching, just that first time walking in to that dark, awful place and seeing what they went through.
Wow, that's powerful, and I've had that come up in some other reflections over and over again. And thank you for sharing that. And it happens that you are a social studies teacher, are you?
Since I'm elementary, I'll have to teach all topics,
Exactly.
including social.
Yes. So that becomes real to you by being part of that travel and visiting a site like the slave castles. So Prince, on a memorable moment that shifted your perspective about teaching and learning in another cultural setting. You're muted, Prince. Oh, you're muted, Prince. We cannot hear you.
Okay, so I do remember when we went to the nature-based school at Midland. I witnessed how education can take place outside classrooms. Students are taught amidst nature, developing survival skills and learning through direct interaction with the environment. They study local flora and fauna, like they study the natural life cycle of mosquito. They were exposed to nature, how things are happening, not on paper. It was an artificial thing. So I was moved by how the educational setting was made in that particular environment. So the assessment too wasn't based on, it wasn't standardized. It was based on performance. So it's mainly conducted through observation, ongoing feedback, and rather than rigid standardization. So this reminded me of the importance of experiential learning, of creating more nature-based connected learning opportunities for students in Ghana. And one striking thing also, when we went to Waverly High School, we were having discussion with the students. I asked them, who do you think is the best teacher? And one of the students said, the best teacher is not the one who is having knowledge, able to deliver the contents, but the one who loves what he or she teaches. So that one also moved me, and that one also is in line with Schauman's theory, which says that learning is not based on mastery of contents, but is based on our compassion, empathy, and then the sympathy that we have for our students in the classroom.
Wow. Thank you, Prince. How about you, Zoe? What is that moment for you?
I would have touched on the other two things, but you guys beat me to it. But I would say a big moment for me was realizing the dependence that we have on technology. And I've slowly started to realize this even more about how students are losing their writing skills and can't write legibly, or even in 11th grade, my students can't do a simple 5-paragraph essay. But when we were in Ghana, I realized how much just taking a step back and using what you have can sometimes be the most impactful for students, instead of trying to give them all of these gadgets and websites and all of these technological tools. That can be overwhelming, and it also takes away from their creativity and their ability to critically respond to the environment around them. I can't remember which school, but one of the schools that we went to in Ghana, they did math problems using fans to show like the different angles, and then they would take a fan and spread it out. And I thought that was really cool, about how you could just take something that is maybe like sitting around your home or outside and use that to teach a lesson. And it's also much more engaging for students. They get to feel like they're part of the process, and that something that is in their everyday lives is represented in the classroom. So I think something that was just really big for me was realizing that technology is not the end all be all. Having a computer is not what is going to give one student a better education over the other. It just is a different way. And sometimes exploring those different ways can be really beneficial for students.
Wow. I hear innovation and creativity over dependence on technology and the MSU, or not MSU, but in the Western world especially. So, Maame, give us your moment. Yes.
Okay, so one moment that stood out for me was during one of our school visits, and in the class, the teacher asked the students to choose any music of their choice and then talk about it. I felt that really made learning personal and expressive, and it's so important for me as a future food and nutrition student, as a future food and nutrition teacher. I would want to give my students the same freedom and opportunity to explore and bring out their own recipes and ideas about different food combination, using their knowledge to solve little problems that they think they would have when it comes to eating and allergies and all. So personally, it really meant a lot to me. So that's the moment.
Well, and thank you so much. So I see you talking about even applying lessons from another subject to your own. that's important, you know. Sometimes we feel like, what is it? In fact, it speaks to the interdisciplinarity or sometimes transdisciplinarity, sometimes how learning in one context, especially like we mentioned in another classroom that is not in your area, like it's not food and nutrition, and applying it, getting lessons that you can still use. It's the same way the context, you can apply context from a different environment, cultural setting, and pick and choose what applies to your own. So that's wonderful. Thank you. Lord, you're the last to go on this. And then you can move on.
Yes, please. Thank you. So most of my experiences were via online and
You are stuck, Lord.
also.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, please.
Yeah, we can
thank
hear
you very much. So most of my observations were during the sessions we had online and also the traveling here in Ghana. And one thing I noticed was that the American educational approach is often more self-directed, allowing space for mistakes and exploration, while the Ghanaian system tends to be more guided and structured. So I realized that counterparts were asking more questions during sessions. They want to know, like, we were quiet because for us mostly it's like ask us something, then we respond because it felt like that's the best way to go. So that's actually one thing that I learned, that as an aspiring educator and also a student, we should be curious. We should be making sure that they. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, you hang a little bit,
Yeah,
but you can hear. Yes.
Sorry, it's the network.
It's fine.
We should be able to embrace diverse perspective, make sure that we learn from each other. Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lord, and for all of you for sharing about your experiences in the intercultural learning and exchange. So moving a little bit and talk about leadership, because beyond the cultural learning, the Reeves Scholars Program also emphasizes leadership and professional growth, that is. So I want to ask, what new leadership skills or mindsets did you develop through navigating collaboration across cultural and institutional settings? I know that you had group projects, you traveling together, there's some of you are volunteering for many things. So in terms of leadership, what opportunity did the Reeves Scholars Program give you to learn and develop, cultivate a mindset of leading? So Zoe, I'll start with you now.
In a way, I think the program was very hands-off and gave a lot of power to us to make decisions. We had to create group chats with each other. We had to get each other's information. When we were given a project, we had to decide what we were going to do with it and how we were going to do it. Who was going to speak first? And so this was a lot of collaboration with each other, but also recognizing and making space for cultural differences and just personality differences. Some people maybe like to talk more or plan more, others didn't. And so we got into the habit and the flow, I think, of just accepting everyone as they are and how they come and taking the positives that they bring to the table and integrating those into our projects. In our communication, sometimes it got easy to kind of lose sight of that and the fact that, you know, not only are we here to learn, but we're here to build relationships and make friends. But once we got back down to the root of that, I would say we were really productive. We would play games together, text each other about random stuff. And I think being able to see each other as people and as human beings instead of some random student halfway across the world really helped us with our communication and our collaboration.
Well, I'll put you on spot. Maybe you are not prepared for this. How did you navigate the challenges? Because, you know, the cultural differences in the way that you approach, you lead, you connect. So how did you navigate them?
I would think a lot of us, when something was like, oh, I don't know if this is, appropriate, we would just ask each other. I remember I would ask Maame so many questions. I'd be like, am I allowed to do this? Can I like join? Or it was like asking each other and being like, do you mean this when you're saying that? Because there's also different phrases or tones of voices that we might use. And we really needed to clarify with each other. And I would say we were all pretty open and honest and not afraid to just ask each other and be like, is this what you mean? Can I do this? And that helped kind of dissipate that fear and that wall between us when we were just open and honest and asking each other questions.
Well, Zoe, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's communication and just clarifying and asking questions to get to know more helps in any context in trying to understand, because we know that the world is diverse in itself. And I'm glad that this program gave you an opportunity at least to be able to experience this real world as it is now and going to the future. Thank you, Zoe. So how about you, Prince? What would you say helped you develop a mindset that is in leadership, like a leadership mindset pretty much through this program?
Yes. So this program actually gave me different definition to leadership. So it taught me that a leader is not just a commander giving orders, giving direction, no, but a leader is a doer. So for instance, when we went to the Grace Hill Institute, where we engage in practical work, braiding, and some also engage in food preparation and fabric design. So this actually shows a leader should be adaptable to different environments. So, and this program actually exposed me to this. And also, apart from that, it taught me a leader who values and manage time. So if you're a leader, you don't know how to manage all these things, it wouldn't sit well with you. So actually, this program exposed me to different definition and perspective of leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince. Maame, how about you go next?
Okay, so for me, I developed stronger communication skills and a more open for collaboration across culture, because working with my fellow scholars and throughout all the visits and all taught me to listen more carefully and to respect different perspectives while adapting to different ideas creatively. So that was it.
So in terms of leadership, I know you were a part of projects, a part of the visits that we made. Sometimes you'd be assigned to be in groups. What did you learn as a teacher in terms of what to do in leadership in the classroom, leadership in any other context through this program?
Okay, so through this program, as I said, is the communication skills for the patient, okay? Because speaking with people from different culture and background, you would have to have the patience to understand what they are saying. So as I said, listening carefully and getting the meaning of it, and then giving effective feedback. So it was majorly the communication for me.
Okay, and that's good, and that's very important for a leader, because we sometimes feel that leaders should be the know-it-all. You're the one who's giving directions, but listening as well, because as a leader, you need to be able to listen before you can make those decisions. So thank you for that, Maame. And how about you, Matt? Lessons in leadership.
I think that the most important thing I learned, and this doesn't just apply to leadership, I think it applies to any social interaction, but you really learn the value of properly communicating. Interactions in the world, they come with so many unspoken social rules that you don't really realize until you're talking to people that grew up with different unspoken social rules. It's similar to what Lot said about using a left hand versus a right hand. this applies to so much when you're speaking to people from different cultures, and being able to communicate about those differences is so important in making sure that interactions go smoothly. And a lot of people get kind of nervous talking about that kind of thing. They don't want to be the first one to be like, hey, I didn't really understand what you meant by this, or hey, you did something that in my culture has a different meaning. And it's about overcoming that kind of like initial nervousness. So you can get to talking about the things you have to talk about so that you can properly communicate and get to know these people. And I think as a leader, you have to make sure that the people you're leading can do that with each other, so that whoever it is you are leading can properly work together and function together.
So, Matt, is there an example where you remember taking leadership, just taking the lead?
I don't see myself as a very leadership
No,
kind of
you are.
guy.
You
I
are.
kind
That's what
of
I want to bring out of you.
I kind of just do things. I don't know. I can't really think of any moments where I'd point to and be like I was being a leader then. I was just
I
doing
want to
my best
point
to do
out that
things.
for you because you're always first. You showed leadership by just showing up on time for everything, even before time. So thank you for sharing that and for everybody else. So lots,
Thank you.
I think we didn't share. You'll be the last person, then we move quickly to the next.
Sure. Yes. So the Reeves Scholars Program actually challenged me to see leadership as a process of collaboration and shared growth. With respect to the skills, we could talk of a lot, but the most important ones that I really grabbed with both hands are one, team building. Because in this journey, the scholars in Ghana actually created groups. We were helping each other out when there is anything that we have to do. We go in our numbers, making sure that everything is done rightly. Communication. There are some words that actually meant different in the American setting. So we were very careful in how we communicated. And also which actually means that as a leader, you should be able to know how to speak, when to speak, and the actual words that you have to speak at a particular point in time. So these are some of the leadership skills that I acquired, and also professionalism. You have to be on time during meetings. Make sure that you are detail oriented, because when assignments are being given, you have to make sure that you submit them on time. You have to ensure that everything that you are being demanded or required to provide, or any tasks that you are required to do, you have to treat them with all urgency. So these are some of the things that actually shaped my leadership journey. Yes, please. Thank you.
So, I mean, before you leave the stage, I want to switch it a little bit and then say these insights that you gained in terms of leadership. And I also know that you did learn, you've mentioned, not just you, but everybody else, the panelists have mentioned about the lessons in terms of teaching in diverse classrooms. You've mentioned in bit. So how do you plan to bring these lessons to your own classroom now? Now think about it broadly, like you have your classroom, you have these leadership skills that you learn from the Reeves, and also all these pieces that you mentioned about that helped you feel helped to become a better teacher in a diverse classroom. How do you imagine putting all this into your teaching as an educator?
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so as an educator, first of all, I have to see my learners not just like tabula rasas. I have to really treat them as people that also have relevant experiences and also prior knowledges. I should make sure that even in setting of rules, or let's say classroom rules, I have to engage them. I shouldn't impose everything on them. I have to make sure that the learners also give their input in anything that we do, making sure that I treat them with the utmost respect. So in terms of communication, you know that in a classroom, what a student might say might affect someone in the short run and also in the long run. So I have to make sure that anything that they communicate in the classroom actually goes according to the standards of the school or according to the code of conduct, and also ensure that in everything like group studies, any group assignment, there should be that kind of unity, everyone trying to bring something on board, not just one person doing everything for the group. So that's the team building. And also we can use the team building to actually build leaders. So in a group, we can have secretaries, we can have the group leader. All these can help to bring about the leadership skills among people, and also not grouping people according to, let's say, classes like these people are the best, so they should go to one group. These people are dull, so they should go to one group. No, it shouldn't be like that. There should be some form of variety, and because it is through our diversity that we actually find our uniqueness. So diverse opinions come together, making sure that we achieve a common goal. So these are the leadership skills that I would actually inculcate in my learners. Thank you.
Thank you. And Zoe, how are you bringing these lessons of leadership to your classroom? And now you're a student teacher, you're doing your internship. How are you bringing this to your classroom right now?
I think one of the biggest ways that I'm bringing this into my classroom is recognizing that although as a teacher, I have the final say or authority over the classroom, it's a partnership between myself and the students. It is not me bossing them around, telling them what to do and what to think and how to do it. But rather collaborating with them. If they really hate a lesson, I'll scratch that, give them something else, but they're still able to learn those standards and the skills that they need. And so I think just really keeping in mind that the students are just as much part of the process as we are when standing in front of that classroom. And I really learned a lot of that from Reeves. There was so much like talking and giving ideas and just making sure that we were compromising and finding an in-between that worked for everybody instead of it just benefits one person and doesn't benefit everyone else. And now I'm taking that into the classroom to make sure that it's not just benefiting me and making my life easier or what I want to do. I'm not the student there. I'm not the one that this is valuable for. And so it's making sure that they are also engaged and they want to do it and they want to be there and they understand the why. And I really learned a lot of those skills, or at least developed them further by being part of the Reeves program.
Wonderful. Thank you. Prince, did you want to say something? Prince, you can go ahead, actually, yes.
Okay.
In terms of
thank
bringing
you.
your leadership skills to the classroom.
Yeah, so one of the ways that I can instill these leadership qualities into my children is making them feel seen in the classroom. And how am I going to do that? One of the approaches that I will use is giving them the power to self-assess themselves. So I learned this one in one of the schools that we visited, actually Waverly High School. So here, if you give children the power to assess themselves after assessment, they were actually given the opportunity to write a reflective letter to give or back the grades that they give themselves after they have assessed themselves. So this one gives them the opportunity to develop their critical thinking skills, metacognition, and they feel like they are part of the classroom because you have given them a task to do. So that's one of the ways that I would actually help them in my leadership qualities.
Yeah, thank you, Prince. And you mentioned Waverly High School, and Robert is here. Thank you, Robert, for joining us. Robert has been a partner with the Reeves Scholars Program, I perhaps think for 4 years or maybe 5 since the program started. So thank you, Robert, for being here. I see a comment on the chat. We're going to come to it later. So thank you, Prince. That's important and that's meaningful, especially when you talk about self-assessment. Typically, it's not something that was even I thought when I was growing up, when I was doing my undergraduate, even high school and below. So yeah, that's a way of having students reflect deeply about which grade do I give myself, number one, and how can I give myself a better grade tomorrow. That's a way of encouraging and motivating them to see themselves as part of the learning process. Then a grade is assigned to you, you know. So thank you for that comment. And then Maame, quickly, and then we move to the very last questions. Maame, please. Maame, do you share about leadership in the classroom?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. Maybe I started with you, and then finally Matt then.
I really liked what Prince had to say about the self-reflections. You know, when you grow up and go to school in the United States, you take a lot of what happens in the United States school for granted. You, I'd been given opportunities to self-reflect before, but it's not something you really think about the impact it has like on the students and giving them like that opportunity until someone with a different perspective comes in and like sees it for what it really is, that instead of like seeing it for something you've gotten used to, right? And I think in general, when it comes to leadership in the classroom, one of the things like this program has really taught me is that it's not just about the teachers being the leaders, right? There's a reason that so many of our Zooms were led by the Reeves scholars instead of the facilitators, right? There's so much opportunity for students to forge their own path and be their own leaders in the classroom that we really just don't think about because we're so used to this idea that teachers are the boss, teachers decide what happens and when, and all of that.
Thank you, Matt. And I'll have you be there for the next part of the question. And kind of this is almost wrapping it up and saying, I've had you talk so much. I mean, we've discussed about the cultural learning. We've talked about feeling a sense of responsibility generally as a global learner and educator. So in a few words, how do you think this program helped you shape your experience or purpose and responsibility as an educator in this globalized world? Like in general now, all these learnings, how do you feel yourself standing in the world that is so global and feeling like you have experience or you have a part to play as a global educator in the world?
We like to say we live in a global world because we have access to so much of the globe, but that doesn't mean people really take advantage of that access, right? I think that the Reeves Scholars Program allowed me to take advantage of this globalized world that we have. And I think that through it, I can encourage not just my student, but other people in general to continue to take advantage of this world we live in, where you can speak with someone halfway across the world in seconds. You can learn from people all over the world. You can teach people all over the world. I think it's important to keep that in mind instead of just, you know, sitting in your couch, scrolling down your phone, having fun.
Wow. Thank you, Matt. Maame, you're next. How did RSP experience shape your sense of responsibility as a global educator?
Okay, so I would say it deepened my sense of purpose as an educator in this globalized world because it reminded me that teaching is not just about knowledge, it's about understanding and then valuing students' identity and experience because they are the one that you are doing this together with as a teacher. is between you and then your student, not just you alone. So centering their voices and respecting diversity perspective, I see is a key to equality and cultural responsive teaching. And that's really what I want to do in the future.
Thank you. Centering students' voices is powerful. Who is next, Lot? Please.
Thank you very much. So my experience in the Reeves Scholars Program actually helped me to understand that teaching and leadership are acts of global citizenship. They extend beyond academic knowledge to shaping responsible, empathetic, and community-oriented individuals. So through the both virtual and in-person engagements, I realized that as an educator, I have a responsibility to create learning environments that are inclusive, equitable, and culturally responsive, preparing students to thrive in a globalized world. Yeah. So I would like to chip in this. During the visit to the Ghana National Inclusive School, I was particularly inspired by a classroom poster that read, "Mutual respect, together as one." That's the school that we realized that students with special needs are in the same class with peers that are considered as normal. Yet they were helping themselves, making sure that they all thrive together. Yeah, so this example reinforces the importance of acknowledging and centering students' lived experiences as a foundation for equity and inclusion. So these experiences shape my sense of purpose as an educator, and I aim to empower all students, recognize their unique backgrounds, and cultivate classroom where learners feel valued, heard, and respected. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Especially in a world that we said it's having culturally diverse, racially diverse, and all types of diversity in a classroom is inevitable in this world. So thanks for mentioning that all-inclusive school. I do remember it as well. And it was a very, very good experience being there and engaging with the staff and students. So, Zoe.
I think that one of the biggest takeaways from this for me is that we need to teach students to not just exist among each other, but that they are existing within the world. And that includes the places outside the four walls of their classroom or the boundaries of their community and city. I think people, especially younger students, tend to forget that they exist within the world, and the world is not just your city or your country, but multiple countries, many cities, billions of people, and that your one way of doing things is not necessarily the right way. That doesn't mean it's the wrong way, but that there's multiple right ways. And teaching students that empathy and understanding that other people are going to have different approaches. Other people are going to want to learn different things, and that is okay. What you think and how you do it isn't necessarily always the right way for other people, but that doesn't mean that it's the wrong way for you. And the Reeves Scholars Program has really shaped my understanding of that and being able to approach those topics with students and letting them know, like, yes, you are very important, but you are existing on this earth with billions of other people who are going to think different things than you, and that is okay.
Wow. Bringing the global learning as an educator to the classroom. Thank you, Zoe. So, Prince, did I give you an opportunity to respond to this global citizenship prompt?
No, please. Okay, so I would also like to touch on the global perspective. So before I saw my purpose as just training students or people to pass exams to be good citizens of Ghana. But right now, after the Reeves Scholars Program, I've got to know that we are not preparing students for just local environments, but for the global world. Because they are now living in a world which is interconnected with economics, interconnected with the internet, interconnected with technology, and they need to understand all these topics. So they need to see how the legacy of places. For instance, if you are teaching them about history of Elimina or maybe Manso as we visited, you have to know about all these issues of justice and equity that is happening today, both at their immediate environment and then abroad. So my role is to give them the tools that they need to navigate through this complex global world as an educator. So I think my classroom now should be a microcosm of the global perspective, giving them all the instruments or the resources that they need for them to live without any distraction.
Thank you, Prince. Oh, this has been long. We're looking to wrap up here, and I want us to look ahead and now talk about opportunities. What would you advise people that are planning to be part of education abroad programs? This was unique in its own way because it was reciprocal. You were able, as much as possible. I know some of the participants didn't get to travel just because of the visa issues, but for the most part, there was opportunity to travel across. Now, what do you think opportunities like this now, Prince? You can continue from there. What do you think opportunities like the Reeves Scholars Program, why do you think are important to other students in teacher education specifically?
Okay, so I think the Reeves Scholars Program is not just a lot.
Oh, did Prince disappear? I will go to you, Zoe. I see you on the screen. So what do you think opportunities like this, why do you think they're important to other students in teacher education?
So because like I was talking about at the beginning, a lot of study abroad programs are you going somewhere and immersing yourself in that culture, but you're still with other students from your university. And I think like that is very valuable. However, the Reeves Scholars Program being cross-cultural really helped us form connections and deepen our knowledge about the culture and people that exist on this beautiful world with us. Being able to go to another country and not only see the sites and visit schools and gain all of this knowledge about education, but also being able to interact with students there who are also becoming teachers really added that extra layer of understanding and depth to what we were learning about. And even just regular study abroad is broadening your horizons. You get to see different techniques and tactics that are used within a classroom, and even just everyday life. Sometimes just walking around in a city that isn't yours can make you realize that there's so many different ways of doing things, and you can take those back to your classroom and apply them, especially when you have students that might not grasp the one way you're doing things. You can take a step back and be like, okay, what are some other approaches to this? What have I seen that work for other students in other areas? And that might be how you connect with a student who's struggling.
Thank you, Zoe. What was that? Prince, are you back so you can finish your thought on? Okay, so maybe he's not lot. How about you? Why do you think this program is important and should be experienced by other teacher education students?
Okay, thank you very much. So programs like the Reeves Scholars Program are vital for teacher education because they expand learning beyond the classroom. They help future educators engage with diverse perspective, develop leadership skills, and foster inclusive, culturally responsive classrooms. The program also provides opportunity to travel, experience other cultures, build meaningful connections, and learn from experts. Because throughout our traveling, you get to know that we, the students, were taken to places whereby we received advices, we received encouragement. So should other educators are given the opportunity to have a feel of some of these scholars program, I think it will be very beneficial, and it will reduce the task, the burden of trying to teach things that we don't even actually relate to. So I think the Reeves Scholars Program is very vital because it gives the exposure and everything that a teacher will need. Thank you.
Experiential cross-cultural learning. Thank you. Prince, you're back. Are you able to share?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So the Reeves Scholars Program, as I was saying, it's not luxury. It's very essential by first of all preparing future educators and also global leaders. And it's actually shatter our unconscious biasness and then expand our pedagogical
Okay, I think it's a internet issue here. Maame, do you want to continue as we wait for Prince to be back?
Okay, I would want to. So I think programs like the Reeves Scholars Program are important because they expose teacher candidates to new ideas, cultures, and teaching practices that helps broaden the knowledge they already have, their perspective, and strengthens their leadership. And I am an example.
Okay, wonderful. And Matt?
I think that as teachers, we have this responsibility to know as much as we can about education so that we can give our students the best education we can. And I think you'll never learn as much as you need to just staying in one place. And the Reeves Scholars Program gives you an opportunity to learn from a whole different country.
Wonderful, and thank you. So, I know for all of you, there's a heavy down. Oh, okay, I see a lot. Thank you. It's the rain that interrupted with the okay. So, kind of final thoughts here. I know that we've talked about very good things about the Reef Scholars Program, but if somebody wanted to be part of an education abroad program, what advice would you give them? Just tips about how to make the best out of experience like this education abroad program. What kind of tips can you give them? Because I know you got a lot, but looking back, you could be like, I wish I knew this. I wish I would have done this. What kinds of advice can you give to a person that is planning to go to education abroad? Yes, Matt.
Don't be nervous.
Right.
Do your best to learn everything you can from the experience and try to make new friends.
Thank you, Matt. Good advice. Zoe. Advice for how to make this experience. Zoe. Okay. Zoe, you're unmuted and we can see you on camera if you're here. All right, I will go to Lot. Tips for somebody who is engaging in an education abroad program in the future.
Okay. So my advice is to be open, be curious, and reflective. You have to make sure that you're going to learn a lot of things. And so you have to stick not only to what you know, but to the perspective of others as well. And ensure that you enjoy yourself, make sure you build meaningful connections, and also, make the best out of every experience that you find yourself in. Thank you.
Okay, be open to learning, be open to sharing with others. Maame?
Okay, so I would say that stay curious, listen actively, and fully engage in every experience. Yes.
Perfect. Parting shot. And first, thank you so much for it's been more than an hour. And I want you to just in one word or one phrase describe what captures one thing, like just in one word, what captures your Reeves experience? What has Reeves Scholars Program meant for you? One word or one phrase? Just that, and then we're done, and we can give our audience time to even introduce themselves. We've taken so much time. Maame, you can go ahead, please.
Okay,
One
so
word,
I
one
was
phrase that captures your Reeves experience.
empowering.
Oh, I'll have that down. Empowering. Zoe.
Connection.
Connection. Wow. Those are just one word sentences, but very powerful. Matt.
Learning.
Wow. Why are you guys so smart like that? Lot.
Bridging gaps.
Say it again.
Bridging gaps.
Bridging gaps. Wow. Give me a moment here. Empowering learning. Hey, is Prince back?
Yes, I'm around. I'm very sorry for the network. A catalytic Ubuntu in action.
Wow. I'm not going to be adding more or less because I said it's a word and a phrase, sorry. I just really want to thank you so much for the panel part. We want to end it here because I know we've had people that joined us from the beginning, and I want to open this up for engagement. If there's somebody in the audience that has a question, has a comment, has something that is keep the reflection going, please feel free to type it in the chat or just raise your hand or unmute yourself and talk. So it's open discussion now. The audience, our esteemed audience, if you have any questions about all these very deep experiences that our scholars have shared, you can imagine we are talking about a whole semester learning, and that's how it took us. Like, it wasn't that long, it took us more than an hour. So, Jessica, I see your hand up. Please go ahead. You can
Thanks,
unmute yourself.
Mark. Thank you. I guess I was curious if students felt different in their classroom in the semester, the one credit course that you guys did, compared to other classes that you're in, because you knew you were part of a special group and you'd be seeing each other later. Did it create a different dynamic in the classroom? Was that an element of what you guys were feeling and sensing, or did you notice that?
Okay, who wants to take that up?
I think there was definitely a different dynamic, but I'm not sure that's what I'd attribute it to. The class was very unorthodox in the sense that it was largely led by the students in it. So because of that, I think we got to know each other in a way that we wouldn't have otherwise, like seeing we all take turns leading the classes, and then the activities that we did outside of the classroom also contributed to that. I do think part of it may have been that we knew that we were going to see each other eventually, but I'm not sure that was like the biggest factor in the difference in dynamic, at least
Cool.
personally.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else that wants to respond to Jessica? All right. Does seem like not
Damaris,
spoken.
can I jump in real
Yes,
quick?
yes.
It's
Oh,
Robert.
yeah, but please.
Well, thank you, Damaris. And if I could pick one word, if you were going to say that to your audience or give that challenge, it'd be inspiring. This was an amazing session, and I felt like so inspired by everything. And it's good to see all you guys. We saw you about a year ago at Waverly High School. So good to see you again a whole year later on. If I could make a couple comments and then just ask, I think, an important question here. So one of the things that keeps coming, this theme that keeps coming out is about how we all learn better, or we learn best from people that are different from ourselves. And the Reeves Scholars has provided you with an opportunity to be exposed to people who are, think different and have different experiences with you. And I think that one of the comment I would have is just that boy, you're going to be in your own classroom, and it's going to be an amazing experience. You have brought these experiences with you, plus your lifelong passion for education. But you get in that school and you go, oh, I love, I'm a global educator, and there won't be anybody else who's interested in that at that point. Okay. So part of your, so it can be a little frustrating to get in there. I've kind of been in that situation before. So my question to you is, how will you stay linked together for the next 30 years as teachers, and how will you continue to support each other as you go forward and have this not be a one-year experience, but having this be a lifetime experience for you as teachers?
Thank you, Robert. Before they even respond, in fact, I had a question that was around, what was it? How do you plan to continue growing, as a globally engaged educator and beyond the program? So thank you so much for bringing that up, because I thought we ran out of time for asking. That's a good question. How do the scholars hope to continue learning together? Anybody that wants to respond, please.
Okay, so through our interaction, we've been able to create bond, and this bond I think, is going to last forever. And even recently, Zoe sent me a question about a friend who is undertaking research work for me to actually bring my inputs. So I think this is one of the ways that we keep the bond. And if we're able to keep this, I think it's going to be forever. And if you are not breaking the ties that we have maintained, we are not breaking the bond, then I think it's going to help us.
Yeah.
Adding on to that, while I have my qualms with technology and social media, there is also the beautiful part of it that we all follow each other and we all have each other's numbers. We have our own group chat from our cohort, but we are also, I think, all part of a very large group chat of all Reeves scholars. There's so many people in that chat, and people send stuff, I would say, like at least a couple times a week. And so we're still able to stay connected and talk to each other, ask each other questions. And I know that there's been some talk of, once we get into our own classrooms, doing things such as like pen pal letters or emails, so that we can further that connection and bring it to our students too. So that is one of the positives to technology.
Well, thank you so much. Did I see? Okay. So I see, Mike, I see your hand up, but I saw Kate's hand first. That's what I was trying to say. I didn't see it again. Kate, please unmute yourself and talk.
Hello there. Please, greetings to you all. Please, I would like to say that this session has been so wonderful, insightful, and educative. I joined, I think Lost shared it on his status, and I joined. I only want to say hi.
Yes, Katie, you have more introduction to yourself. Scholars do remember
Sorry.
the designer for your outfits. Kate, is only that we were not able to see your face, but yeah, that's
Oh,
the same as Kate. She
no
did. She
problem.
made very, very beautiful outfits for the scholars and for my daughters. They love them
Thank
so much.
you.
I told you
Thank you
that.
so
So thank you
much.
so
Yes,
much, Kate,
please.
for
You're
being part
welcome,
of
Doctor.
this. Thank you for being part of this global network of the Reeves
Okay,
Scholars Program. You are a scholar as well. You are very,
I was
very
gonna say
involved.
that she feels
Yes,
like an
please,
honorary scholar.
So yes.
And for those on
I
here that
agree.
don't know, Kate very generously took the time out of her 2 weeks when we were there and made traditional Ghanaian outfits for all of us. We got to pick out the fabric and then she sewed them, and it is one of my favorite clothing pieces I have. Everyone walked away with something to wear and they were absolutely beautiful. It's a little like piece of Ghana that we got to take home with us.
Wow.
We
That's
should
so
have
nice.
remembered to wear them here, but thank you so much, Kate.
Yeah, thank you, Ma.
So we appreciate your being here too. So Mike, please.
Now I feel ill prepared because when the students came here last, I got a beautiful UCC tie and a tie pin. and I'm working from home today, so my wife would have thought it was a little bit strange if I put a suit and tie on. But I have them. I can't wait to get to UCC and to wear them there. But I have an actual serious question. So, in it's a selfish question. I'm going to say this right off the bat. My job is fundraising for all international programs at Michigan State and with our partners, right? And I have been this much involved with Reeves studies in terms of actual program engagement, but very involved in trying to engage new donors. So much so that I want to think of Reeves, expanded in an amazing way. One of the things we've looked at is potentially doing a four-way exchange where students would actually get a chance to travel to four different countries and do similar shared educational engagement, right? Which seems a little bit difficult right now given the current government's aversions to granting visas, but someday we'll return to normalcy. So my question to all of you is, as I'm out there looking for potential donors for a program that's based on Reeves, what's the one thing that you can share about your experience that would help me convince a donor of the value of this? Sorry, I know that's a really weird question, right? But my
No,
job is strange, so I ask strange questions.
it's not strange.
Honestly, I would just emphasize the fact that it's reciprocal, unlike a lot of study abroad programs, right? Instead of just taking a few kids, sending them to another country, bringing them back, calling it a day, they got your visit here, we got your visit there. And that alone makes it, I think, so much better than other study abroad programs. No offense to the other study abroad programs. I'm sure they do their best. Um, but yeah, I think that's a really big thing to emphasize. And I'm sure a lot of Reeves alumni, myself included, would uh, be more than okay with being like on call if you ever need like like anecdotal evidence for convincing someone as to why a program like this should exist. Like if you ever sent me an email like, hey, I want to convince this person they want to meet someone that went through the program, like I know I'd love to do that, and I'm sure plenty of other people would too.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Mike, you have an ambassador right there.
I would also so be willing to do that. And other than the reciprocal part, the thing I can think of that might be beneficial for potential donors to hear is the networking. Unlike traditional study abroad programs where you go there and come back with the same people, we're not only expanding our own personal network, but in a way, we're expanding MSU's professional network. Now, as MSU students and eventually alum, we are going to have these connections with other people in a different country. And then we're also going to take that and bring it to classrooms. So instead of having this be one way, it's like kind of like exponentially growing. We're just creating this huge network that is available for ourselves and for Michigan State and for UCC. And we're able to now incorporate that into our student lives, but also our teaching lives. And that is very unique to this program and something that I would say a lot of study abroad students don't necessarily get the chance to do.
Well, and I'll tell you, I worked for the Peace Corps many years overseas managing programs, and this to me is like the embodiment of what MSU is on a global scale, this program, right? And I think that, the more that you all engage equitably, reciprocally, and really learn to listen to each other without judging, the better off we're all going to be. So I really want to thank you for your participation, and I'll do my best to make sure that we can find funding for Reeves and whatever comes after Reeves that might be even bigger, right?
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Mike, for all the work that you do to ensure that our students at MSU are getting these experiences. It's 71 students that have benefited from this program. but you can see the impact is big. It's bigger than 71. I know. How many students do you have in each classroom that you teach or you are going to teach? So it's really very inspiring to have programs like this that provide an opportunity for experiential learning for our students. It's very different. It's different than what you can offer in a classroom setting. I don't see a hand up yet, and I see Robert invited you to the Lattice, I call it a program, initiative. So I was a member of Lattice when I was a student. This is an organization that has been going for years. And in fact, as a new student in the US, it's what exposed me to the American classrooms. I used to volunteer to go talk about my culture, talk about my country. And we also had monthly meetings where we met teachers, local teachers, and we being international students in College of Education. And I see, Robert, you've provided a link here and information on the chat. Please, and do you do virtual meetings anymore?
Hi, Damaris. Yeah, thank you for giving me a little time for this commercial. Okay. One of the things I was getting at was, continuing to expand your links and to be with other people that are like-minded and Lattices, which stands for Linking All Types of Teachers to International Cross-Cultural Education. You'll be happy to know that our two session directors this year one is Katie Bilecki, who you all know, and also Luke Hollenbach, who's a former Reeves alum also. But they're in charge of programming with the goal of helping U.S. teachers teach from more global perspectives. The more perspectives, of course, of the membership, the better that mission is met. So we'd like to invite all of you. There are some in-person activities. There are activities that we sponsor, that we co-sponsor with other groups, but we're also very interested in we've always been interested in continuing to connect our alumni many of whom are like Damaris, who came to US for school, but then returned to wherever they came from, and they're part of our network as well. So regardless of whether you're here in East Lansing or you wind up in Michigan somewhere, or if you're in Ghana, we would love to engage you. So the form that is on there will get you on the mailing list, and then we will reach out to you. So if you are interested in just getting more information, there's no commitment or anything like that, but you're a perfect fit. You are just absolutely the best fit possibly could be for a Lattice educator. And maybe this is a great step next after Reeves. Thanks, Damaris.
Thank you, Robert. And the link to the form is on the chat. Please, if you're interested, you go ahead and respond. You should be interested. I should not give you an option of if you're interested. You should be interested. It's a great program. I have to, okay. Jessica has, okay, Jessica, do you have a note on the chat? Jessica is saying College of Education actually has me designing an evaluation of the RSP, the Reeves Scholars Program, to try to gather the learnings and the impact. Glad to hear people would be willing to receive an email with us. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'm
guys.
positive that, yeah, the scholars would be happy to provide the information that will help you do the assessment of the program. Matt is asking how often are these meetings? I think it's the Lattice meetings you're asking, Matt. Yeah. Robert, would you please respond to that?
Yeah, we've traditionally met monthly, and we have there are a number of modalities. We have we come to schools. We give opportunities for international graduate students to come to your school so that you can not only have virtual connections, because I can see Matt already is plotting his Zoom calls across the Atlantic, and we can also bring actual people into your classrooms here in Michigan as well.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a great opportunity to visit classrooms and to connect with the diverse group of educators. It's more education measures, but I think it's open to anyone that is interested in global learning and engagement. So I do not see a question on the chat unless I missed something, and I don't see any hand up. Yeah, has been a whole 1 hour and 43 minutes, but time for learning and engaging with one another and hearing from the experiences of our wonderful scholars. Oh, I see Dr. Kalumbu is here. Dr. Kalumbu, your hand is up. I was going to close you out. Please feel free to unmute and speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. For those of you who are overseas, I am trying to get my my video here to show, but it's giving a little trouble. I do not know why. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Okay. Yes, I just want to tell everybody that I am just overwhelmed with joy, seeing the incisiveness, creativity, and the ability of all the young people who are involved in this program to learn and to be able to reflect on their learning, and also the promise that each and every one of your presentations has for future education. It is just amazing to see what the possibilities are through cross-cultural interaction. And the amount of learning that has happened here is probably much, much more than can ever be done in a course or two. So I just want to congratulate all of you students for venturing out and for being open-minded and for the learning that you have acquired, which I have no doubt is being posted forward, because every student that passes through your classroom is going to be a beneficiary of the wisdom, of the experiences that you have garnered through this program. I just want to encourage you to continue on this path of international education, because it is really important. It is the way of the future. There is no way internationalism can be reduced. It is a force of its own. It cannot be stopped, no matter what others might think or some political ideologies might say. The truth of the matter is that we are a global village. Getting to know one another is wise. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Isaac, for those comments, encouraging comments. So great to see you all again. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Robert. So really, again, thank you so much to our speakers, the panelists. You know, you were representing your colleagues, and thank you for volunteering to be part of this session today. And, you know, it's just powerful to note or to hear how intentional intercultural learning and engagement can transform not just a classroom, but individuals. I know that you learned this and it's going to impact your classrooms, but it has an impact on you, as a person. It's for yourself and then it's for your classroom. So as we said, we hope that we will find more opportunities to continue engaging with one another, to continue expanding your global knowledge in whichever opportunities that you find, and also making sure that these skills and knowledge and learning gets into the classrooms. I'm really happy that you reflected on how each and every piece of your learning and knowledge is going to get its way into the classroom. And I do believe so, because we even got to see some of you teach, like, was that Dea? We went to Dea, one of the scholars. For those who didn't get to meet with her, she was not here today. So I have no doubt that the world is going to be a better place because of the knowledge and the learning and the intentionality of doing it in your classrooms that is going to happen. So I really want to thank the audience for being here until the end. I know some of us are joining from Ghana and from other parts of the world. It's a little bit, not even a little bit, it's late there. But thank you for making time to be part of this program and sharing your comments and getting to hear and learn from our scholars today. So thank you, scholars, so much. And thanks, everybody. We're going to close here and hope to see you next time. This was our last African Tea Time for the semester, but we're going to be back in January. I will get back and I will share more information about the next sessions that we're going to have in the spring semester. But thank you and have wonderful holidays if I don't get to see you. But thank you.